So if you're watching this, you're probably wanting to know how to buy real estate at a low interest rate. In this video, I'm gonna break down what a 2-1 buy down is, how it allows you to buy real estate at relatively low interest rates. And if you stick around to the end, I'm gonna tell you about my friend and client who recently bought a home using this 2-1 buy down program. So if this is your first time here, what's up? My name is Jeremy Mateo. I'm a real estate broker and investor here in Hawaii. And I've helped numerous clients, including myself, buy and sell real estate here on the island of Oahu. So if you've been paying attention to what's going on in the market, in the last 2.5 years, interest rates, AKA the price to borrow money, has been at historical all-time lows. The rates have been sitting around 2.5% to 3.5% on average since around June of 2020. But earlier this year, the Federal Reserve said enough is enough, and they spiked interest rates from what was 2 to 3% to now anywhere from 6 to 7%. This is actually a big deal, like a really big deal. And if you're not sure why, check out this funny video that me and my team made and posted on my Instagram, which explains how interest rates affect affordability and why it's a big deal. Check it out.
The real estate market is crashing.
Bro, it's not crashing, it's just slowing down.
So what's going on?
Here, Jay, let me explain. Let's take it back to 2019. If you wanted to buy a house, the interest rate was 4%.
Oh, okay, I remember that.
Let's say you wanted to buy a house for $500,000.
All right, okay, I'm listening.
At 4% interest, your monthly payment would be about $2,300.
Nice.
But get this, a year later in 2020, interest rates were about 2.5%. So now your payment on that $500,000 home is now $1,900.
Sick.
Super cool, right? But because of that, everyone wanted to buy the house. So for you to get the house, you have to pay $550,000.
I would.
Yeah, because I mean, at $550,000 at 2.5% interest, your monthly payment is about $2,200, which is still cheaper than if you bought it at $500,000 at 4% interest.
Yeah, I definitely paid $50K over asking for the house.
Exactly, but now rates are at 6%.
Whoa.
And the house you wanted to buy? $600,000.
Oh my God.
And your monthly payment? $3,600.
Make it stop!
Whoa, chill.
So you're saying that the market's not gonna crash?
No, bro, just because your monthly payment is higher doesn't mean there's gonna be a crash.
So what you're saying is that it's slowing down and it's not gonna crash?
Yeah, bro, there's not gonna be a crash. You're just fucked. Bro, the market's crashing.
As you can see, even though it is funny, it is still very serious, and the rising interest rates really changed the market and affordability. However, there are ways to get around these high interest rates temporarily. And one strategy that I've been seeing a lot lately is something called the 2-1 buy down program. What is a 2-1 buy down? Does it mean that I get 2 houses for the price of 1? No. Essentially, a 2-1 buy down program is a type of financing strategy to reduce your interest rate for the first 2 years of owning your home. The way it works is that for the first year, your original interest rate is reduced by 2%. Then in the second year, your original interest rate is reduced by 1%. And then in year 3, you will go back to your original interest rate. So for example, if you are buying a home with an interest rate that's initially at 6.5%, for the first year, your interest rate will actually be 4.5%. Then in year 2, your interest rate will be at 5.5%. Then finally on year 3, that is when you go back to your original interest rate, which was 6.5%. So now that you know what it is, I'm gonna tell you about my client who is actually my best friend, not a paid actor. We've actually been best friends since the 7th grade. Here's a picture of us. Aw, I know, super cute. Anyway, he just bought a home like literally last week using the 2-1 buy down program. So here's a picture of Jonathan, his other half Diana, and myself. This was the morning that we closed on their very first home. As you can see, we're super excited. I was super excited. He's been my best friend since forever, and I think this was a cool full circle moment. And I've known this guy for so long, and he's been working his entire life to make this happen finally. So he bought this home with a purchase price of $700,000. The down payment was $140,000, and his interest rate originally was 6.3%. With that being said, his monthly payment was about $3,500, probably a little more because of taxes and insurance, but For the sake of simplicity for this video, we'll just say it was $3,500 per month. So because we did the 2-1 buy down program, his initial rate was 6.3%, but in year 1, his interest rate is 4.3%. At 4.3%, his monthly payment is about $2,771, but again, let's just call it $2,800 for the sake of simplicity. So with that difference, he's saving about $700 each month, aka $8,400 for the year in savings. Then in year 2, his interest rate will be 5.3%, making his payment about $3,110. Again, to be simple, we'll just call it $3,200. This would make his savings about $300 each month, or a savings of $3,600 for the whole entire year. Then finally, in year 3, he will go back to his initial interest rate of 6.3%. So by doing this 2-1 buy down program, he would be saving around $12,000 over the course of 2 years, probably a little more because again, we're just being simple for this video. So in a nutshell, that is basically what a 2-1 buy down is and how it works. Now you might be thinking, whoa, Jeremy, this sounds freaking awesome, but let me guess, this probably costs some fees, huh? Yes, you are absolutely correct. It is not free. It does cost some money. Now, everyone's financial situation is different and everyone's mortgage loan officer is also different. But when I ask a bunch of loan officers, the general answer I get is that the rough estimate for the cost of a 2-1 buy down is about 2.5% of the loan amount. And this 2.5% fee is actually due at closing when someone goes to buy the home. The cost of this 2.5% fee is in addition to the buyer's closing costs and their down payment. So in my friend Jonathan's example, the purchase price of the home was $700, but because he put a 20% down payment, the loan amount was $560,000. 2.5% of $560,000 is about $14,000. So that's kind of close to that $12,000 estimated savings that he would have over the course of 2 years. Again, we're just being simple. So in addition to his down payment and his closing costs, he would have had to pay that extra $14,000 as well. But get this, this is the cool part. He didn't pay for that $14,000, the seller did. I was able to negotiate with the seller for them to pay for the 2-1 buy down. Yes, the seller actually paid for this cost. Now you might be thinking like, wait, why would the seller want to do this? Well, believe it or not, because of the shifting real estate market, it is not like how it was the last 2 years. Sellers are more motivated to sell their house to buyers more than ever. So in order to sell their home, they're gonna have to lower their prices. They're gonna have to offer credits. They're gonna have to offer concessions, all of that to the buyer, aka you. So if your seller agrees to do this, instead of you coming to the table to pay for this 2.5% fee to buy down your rate, the seller does. You do nothing and the seller pays for it at closing. Pretty cool, huh? And that is basically everything you need to know about a 2-1 buy down program and how it allows you to buy a home at a lower interest rate in the first 2 years of home ownership. Now, a quick warning, I will say that there is a little risk to doing this. If your income stays the same for the next 3 years, you might have a little difficulty paying for your home once the interest rate goes back to its original interest rate. You should only do a 2-1 buy down program if you are comfortable with the monthly payment at the original interest rate. Because with the original interest rate, if that monthly payment is kind of stretching you, in the first year, you'll be fine, but once it hits year 3, then that's when you might run into trouble. But if you are comfortable with that monthly payment at the original interest rate, then by all means, go ahead and do it. This is a great way to get into real estate now with a temporarily low interest rate. And if the best case scenario happens and rates go down within the first 3 years, then you can just refinance and get a lower rate and lock it in for 30 years. But if a worst case scenario were to happen, which, isn't actually that bad, but again, you're comfortable with the original interest rate, in a worst case scenario, interest rates go up, but guess what? You are locked in year 3 at that original interest rate, which would be lower than the market interest rate that's going on currently if interest rates go up. Hope I didn't lose you there. And that is basically how anyone can buy real estate right now and get a home with low interest rates for the time being, while right now interest rates are currently rising. If you have any questions about the 2-1 buy down program, or you have any questions about real estate, feel free to drop it below in the comments. And if you are looking to buy real estate here in Oahu, feel free to contact me on my email, contact@jeremymateohawaii.com. And again, thank you all for watching. I'll see you again next time.